We somehow cloned the human factor. At least imagine that it's our image and a person is asking us questions, but we're getting the answers from organic humans. Yes, imagine, for example, I'm interviewing you too. You're also involved in the TV and press aspect of this. I integrate your insights into the system during those interviews. What happens this way? The player I brought in with a virtual transfer, the things he did in the press, the comments Ali made about him in the media, and the comments that fans posted on Twitter. So, what have we done now? In order to keep the human factor involved, we are creating these specific modules. It is humans who create artificial intelligence. Yes, and if the human factor is at the helm of that task, its mastery, even if it manages to handle it during the program's initial writing, we are always the directors of artificial intelligence. What we do here at Comparisonator, our core business is football, and we proudly serve over 122 clients across all 7 continents of the world. These clients range from clubs like Sheffield United and Nottingham. Then you can go all the way to FC Tokyo or over to Los Angeles, and then come back here to Beşiktaş or even Samsunspor.
Mr. Ali Emre Dedeoğlu. Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished speakers, we would like to invite to the stage Mr. Akçay, the founding Chief Executive Officer of Scoutium, and Mr. Tarkan Batgün, the Chief Executive Officer of Comparison. A very warm welcome to you both, and we wish you a most pleasant and engaging discussion.
Now we'll discuss the areas where AI is involved, because the work of Scoutium on one side and Comparisonator on the other is globally a source of great pride for us. But of course, artificial intelligence also comes into play. And with AI, I won't be asking, will robots take over us? That's not the question I'm going to ask, but
robots will conquer us.
Will he get it through? I wasn't going to ask that, but you gave the answer, man. Thank you.
There's a current discourse that the more effective the human factor is in artificial intelligence, the more successful they will be in their own fields in the future. How true and how possible is this in the field of sports? I'll start by asking what your observations are.
I'd like to start with Tarkan, with your kind permission.
Now, the very first and most crucial aspect we need to understand is that artificial intelligence learns various things from us through machine teaching and its own learning processes.
After all, it's an AI.
Because it's humans who create artificial intelligence.
Absolutely.
And the human factor, if it is truly at the forefront of that particular endeavor, then the complete control and dominance over that entire operation. If it handles it already in the program's writing, we are always the managers of AI.
Yes.
But
Let me give an example from football. Because as Comparisonator, the business we're in, what we do is football. And we have over 122 clients spanning all 7 continents of the globe. Among these, you'll find clubs like Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest. Then you can move on to FC Tokyo or perhaps Los Angeles and then come back here to Beşiktaş or even Samsunspor. Our fewest customers are also in Turkey.
Yes, we will touch on that topic.
We call it human factor in English. So, what do we do to protect the human factor? A special In our backend, we embarked on a cloning methodology, a process entirely conceived and executed by our Turkish engineers, utilizing our unique engineering prowess. This perhaps represents the foundational layer of what our colleagues previously referred to as super AI. So, what have we done now? First of all, in Comparisonator, you're currently typing a player's name. You then bring the name of the player you've typed to Turkey through a virtual transfer. Will this particular player actually play in Turkey or not? And if so, which team would he play for? What positions does Santa Forza occupy within that particular team? Right now, artificial intelligence is having us conduct the very first elimination. Who is actually doing the eliminating? It's a human. Just think about it. I've been traveling across the globe for 25 years through companies like Y-Scout, Sportsnet, and Huddle. I've emerged from many startups, some as a shareholder, others as a management consultant. But what I realized even back then was that the hardest job in the world is managing people. Now, it's simply not possible for a machine to manage the living beings within the world of football. For now. So, the cloning here and the very first layer that we're going to be discussing will be this. Just yesterday, for example, I conducted an interview with Miguel, who handles the brand's most important football data and artificial intelligence topics. From that discussion, approximately 20 questions came up. In about a year, I've done 12 interviews like this, and just imagine the questions that came out of them. First, how will we ask the question to artificial intelligence? How do we want to receive the answer from artificial intelligence? I'm speaking from a football perspective, by the way. Yes, what is the most suitable option for me? First and foremost, you need to provide a detailed description of your own team so that the artificial intelligence, taking into account all the human factors, can then recommend a player to you who perfectly matches that specific description. How will he manage this now? In our upcoming 4-year plan, I, Tarkan Batgün, have been working on this very topic for 20 years, both moderating and speaking at various such events around the world. I have 122 clients. What have we been doing? We've been exchanging ideas and insights with sporting directors, club presidents, chairmen of the board, chief scouts, and heads of recruitment to understand how they operate. We are teaching that operational process to Comparisonator's artificial intelligence. This is in England, this is in Brazil. So a player from Brazil has come to England. From which geographical region of Brazil did he come? To which geographical region of England? To what quality of team did he go? And was he successful there or not? Naturally, as part of this process, for the current project, we have established a dedicated web-based tracking system. Through the web, the process of understanding the player's human characteristics is being incorporated into this specific layer. What is it exactly? Is he a good family man, you know? Does he have a nightlife, perhaps? Or is his single life more important to him? Because some of these things aren't really compatible with our Turkish culture.
What we've seen today with live examples.
Icardi's situation. Currently, Coach Okan is managing Icardi. But how long can this go on? If there is success, then this management continues. However, when you examine Icardi's performance with artificial intelligence, specifically per minute he has played, based on the artificial intelligence measurements of his output per minute on the field, he still ranks as the third best among all center forwards. So how will we protect the human factor in this human factory? Imagine a figure that will become a hologram in the future, and you'll be able to ask this figure any questions you want. Right now, is this actor suitable for me? Tarkan Batgün's face, the light emanating from within him, will tell you. A more realistic simulation awaits us in the future. Imagine a full hologram. We have set a 4-year target to reach this point. We're in the first 9 months now. What did we do in those 9 months? The player's own internal makeup within us we've established a special system which we call CompaGPT. For example, our president Mahmoud has just entered the system. He's already here, ready to go. Welcome. He went into the system. Tarkan Batgün wrote it. He pressed a button. CompaGPT, all the internal data. He transformed it into a season file within a period of time that felt like a second. And this season's file, President Mahmoud is listening to Tarkan Batgün in his car. Radio host İlhan will be upset about this now, standing there. But all the time I spent outside Radio Gol was scouting players coming to Turkey in this way. Now, we've somehow cloned the human factor. Imagine it's our image and people are asking us questions, but we're getting the answers from organic humans. Right, so imagine, for instance, I'm conducting an interview with you and you're involved in the television and press aspect of it. I'm taking what I've learned from you and integrating it into the system during those interviews. So what exactly happens in this scenario? Of the player whom you've brought in through a virtual transfer, the things that he did in the press, Ali's comments that were made about him in the media, and the comments that fans made on Twitter. So what have we done? We are creating these modules to ensure that the human factor is always kept within the system. Well, of course, here the Scouts integration, when you truly consider it, especially for Turkey, actually plays such a profoundly important role. So I'll pass the ball to you now. Because the harmony of young people with AI, especially the situations in AI's player selection, particularly in the predictions of young players, will be your responsibility. For example, what did we do in Comparisonator for this? We set up a prediction mechanism. Yes, what we call behavioral patterns in English. These are the player's actions in a subjective environment. We said this is the human's job. When they step onto the field, so, does the player join the celebration when a goal is scored? This is actually a tag. It will be programmed later and extracted from the image. Icardi didn't join the goal celebration. What happened? Our AI-powered analysis via television. Well, if Icardi is indeed visible within that particular image, then yes, it suggests the AI is identifying a significant issue regarding his full integration as a team member. So what exactly did he proceed to do? Yes, at the 70th minute, he finally entered the game. His expression, his actions, the behavior that was observed inside a human being. Number 3, he entered the game, his leadership within the game. He could get the pass. What did he do when he couldn't get the pass? Now, within our Comprehend Later platform, even though we are an artificial intelligence product, we have taken humanity under our protection. Because my biggest fear, you already see it in the movies now. I was born way back in 1967. My earliest memories began with Star Trek and Mr. Spock. Now, just think of the technology back then. Flip phones, doors that would open and close. Holograms. So, what has become of all the stories we've heard about them now? Did Star Trek come, see us in the future, and then create this? Or did we truly take a foundational idea from them? Now, my entire childhood was spent reading Jules Verne's books. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. There's a story by Jules Verne, and in it, he creates a submarine. He names it Nautilus. This submarine was launched into the sea in 1950 or 52, if I'm not mistaken. It was the first atomic submarine built by the Americans, named Nautilus.
Who saw whom?
So, human imagination is, at this point, far and away superior to artificial intelligence. This is already mine. This place is actually very emotional for me. In 1996, in Australia, I was the public relations director of the Australian Turkish Chamber of Commerce, the first ever established abroad with its own capital.
Did you manage to pull it off then?
Let's keep passing.
No, the left foot was inside. Okay. All right. In this data generation aspect, the possibilities for artificial intelligence are perhaps endless. Now, Mr. Tarkan, Professor Tarkan just gave a very good example. I mean, it will even collect data on facial expressions.
When we ask AI with a click, it gives us an answer instantly, just like Tarkan Abi said.
A question just popped into my head. It's a joke, of course. Now, whenever lately, especially with ChatGPT, or it's in others too, now, you can give a command like, act this way towards me. Dude, whatever I typed to ChatGPT recently, it begins with, you've asked another great question, Ali Emre, for example, okay?
This is positive reinforcement.
How is your family? No, like this.
Character event.
AI personality analysis. What I mean is personal analysis by AI. As I was talking about layers, when training AI, we work on a self-learning algorithm that analyzes user behavior.
Okay.
So, how does that user convey this to the machine? Because what you're talking about is actually a machine.
The machine is also, in a way, saying, I'm watching you.
A machine, pause, and then you'll be able to say to it, you need to treat me in this specific manner.
We can say that now.
There's not much to say just yet, but before we talk about these things, how is this football data generated?
Then I at that point.
Yes, I shouldn't lose sight of that. Now, how was it before and where is it evolving? How far have we come with artificial intelligence? The image shows a system called Sports Code, and I'm not trying to advertise it, but it's still the leading one in the entire world. It's a video analysis tool. Now, back in the year 2000, when I was an old footballer in Australia, a rather bad footballer actually,
Be honest.
they understood I wouldn't make a football player. Well, your mechanical intelligence is a bit better. First, I became the video kid. When I was the computer guy behind the scenes, they had me do something specific. A video would come in and it contained 22 starting players. The task was to code exactly what each and every player was doing. And the Australians, because Australians are investing an incredible amount into technology. We're specifically referring to the very early foundational stages of technology. Anyway, yes, that's precisely what we mean. The specific terms are Ali and goal. Now, you are programming Ali's goal button. It's just two very simple words. On a small square, it says goal, and right next to it, it says Ali goal. A chain that's similar to that. How did Ali score the goal? With his right foot, Where did Ali score that goal from? From 35 meters, a penalty goal from inside the penalty area. Now, imagine a tree like that. You create this particular tree first, and then you assign it to a single button. The match is completed in about 4 hours. We call this process match coding. Once this match coding is done, you can then analyze every single ball Tarkan touched with his foot in one comprehensive video and easily determine how many shots he took, how many assists he provided, and even his shot assists.
This is the method we use
Yes.
ourselves. This is our human-produced part too.
This was the situation that we designated as the first stage. After that, I transitioned to Y-Scout. Y-Scout was one of the most prominent startups in the entire world. It's no longer a startup, of course. They eventually sold it for 100 million euros. There, I commenced my role as a management consultant, collaborating with a 5-person Italian team. I made sure that the technologies I had learned there were fully integrated into Y-Scout system. And what exactly was that? Again, there's the human factor involved. People are tagging all the matches. Let's establish a call center-like operation in Bulgaria at a very low cost. Then all the matches started getting tagged. This is the second phase. We're moving to the third phase.
I suppose I'm guessing it.
We started. When that particular phase began, I was appointed as Bursaspor's scouting director. We had players like Fernandao, Ozan Tufan, Mehmet Zeki Çelik, Mert Hakan Yandaş, goalkeeper Okan Koçuk, and Bakan Bu. This team always produced these talents back then, and it was Europe's very first scouting laboratory. This brought in 35 million euros in pure revenue. Just imagine that transfer back in those days. Until this very day, it's most likely still the largest revenue a team has ever generated in a single transfer season. Now,
High sales occurred.
yes, at that time, my mentor was Christoph Daum.
May his soul rest in peace.
Yes, may God have mercy on them. If Comparisonator was invented today, it's one Christoph Daum and two Rudi Verkamping's assistants. Tarkan said, whoever comes, whatever equipment you desire, get it for this laboratory. I selected a very valuable team of 7 from Bursaspor. They were all young Bursaspor fans who had in some way played football themselves. Because Bursa, if you integrate a team's fans into this work, they will never let you down. But you also need to give them enough money and sufficient authority. Anyway, we set up this system. Tarkan said, you will examine all the players who come. I said, all right, player names like sudden downpour began to flood in. In your opinion, how many players do you think a single scouting director could possibly receive in just one day?
Can come.
Yes, names, there can be many. Just take a wild guess. Let me tell you this. The very first day I came, I had 50 names on my desk, man.
2. The first day.
On the second day, another 50. On the third day, another 50. 150 players piled up, bro, on my desk. I have a 7-person team. I told Christoph, I gave you my word, but I just can't do it. What are we going to do? So, how does it work? If you want to scout a player, let's say you've opened Y Scout, you'd first watch their highlights. In 20-25 minutes, you'd get a good idea. Then you'd decide, I'll watch one of their home games, then an away game. Let's say you delve a bit deeper, and maybe even a Champions League match. 90 long minutes, 90 long minutes, 90 long minutes. What have you done, man? 5-6 hours of our precious time. I told him, Christoph, we simply cannot do this job. So please don't ask me to do this. I told him, we are absolutely forced to do this. What exactly are we going to do now? He then replied, all right. He then suggested, let's create a quantitative Excel system. You need to find an industrial engineer from among 2 of our supporters. Let's send our greetings from here to Bursa. Serdar Kuruçay is currently considered one of the most important industrial engineers in the automotive industry, and he's still in Bursa. Serdar, come here, brother, and create a mathematical model for us. This is a game changer for our AI.
In this model,
let's give a score to every action taken, together with experts. Let's not waste time unnecessarily, because we lose a minimum of 5 hours watching just one player. And imagine 50 players have already come, plus our team is also looking. Our first mathematical model, which became the very backbone of Comparisonator. What exactly happened? A player's name was announced. He was eliminated in just about an hour. Yes, brother, this is completely worthless. Don't even bother looking at this one or that one or this other one. We successfully reduced this time by a factor of 10. And then, following the first 3 months, Fernandao, who was the first to be identified from these findings. Even if we're all about math and physics, I come from the field. I'm a former football player myself. I told the coach, you must have one of your scouting teams. We absolutely must send someone to Brazil to scout this player.
He just came back to watch.
Yes, it was observed with our own eyes. The reports have come in. I went to Brazil most recently. Yes, we said this is the one.
Where the human factor stopped, decision making came last.
So, what happened next? We acquired Fernando for $600,000. Cedric Bakambu, if my memory serves me right, was $450,000. But we were left with a certain model. After that, naturally, we were dismissed. You know, that kind of thing isn't well received in Turkey. People who do good work are not liked because this is a completely different matter. Because the mechanics of football are very different and every country has different mechanics. So I personally went to Matteo Campodonico and we took matters into our own hands. I told Matteo, we've invented something. Let's have Y Scout customers use this and let them perform this elimination first. The player comparison module. After that, I went to Chiavari, to Y Scouts headquarters. Yes, man, our teams are formed. Mr. Matteo came and said Tarkan told him, we sold the bot, man, to Huddle, the Americans. I also have a tiny city of my own. You take this, go place it in Turkey, and we said, okay, where will we find the right person to do this? Which is the best university, man? Boğaziçi University. I went to Boğaziçi University. My nephew had just gotten into Boğaziçi business then. I said to him, my dear Furkan, listen, you are going to find me just one more completely brand new software developer. And I've already managed to find 3 of them. My very first chief scout, I must say, is Furkan. Friends, we said, we must create something that has never been done before anywhere in the world. I'm envisioning it. What is it? We will use artificial intelligence. We will ask artificial intelligence questions. It will find the most suitable player for us. I told you that you would create this platform.
Year?
Yes, year 1000, year.
1902?
The year 2019.
Indeed.
So we, set up our shop in Çekmeköy, right in the backyard of the Globant site, man. In 2020, we founded our very first startup, which we called Comparisonator. But if you don't build artificial intelligence and machine learning from the ground up, as the masters already know, later on, integrating something like this becomes incredibly difficult. So what exactly did we end up doing? Now, where exactly did all that data actually go? The video is now finally coming into our hands. What our Turkish engineers have created, what these young children have created, and these kids haven't even lived through 6 summers, brother.
There's effort.
Effort's power. There's great effort.
What they do. How many kilometers?
3.5 minutes.
How many kilometers has each player run? With what degree of effectiveness did they run? And in this regard, we are also world leaders.
There's a tremendous amount of effort involved.
But the market we are targeting, since President Mahmoud is always ahead of me, that's his presidential caliber, because the one who pays must decide and he doesn't have much time. I will show President Mahmoud in 10 seconds anyway. Is he a player or not? He played for Göztepe. He will tell me in 10 seconds. Back in 2010, my friend President Aziz brought John Bilton to Fenerbahce's youth academy. And John Bilton, was then heading all of Leeds United's academies and all player-related affairs. Tarkan, I first got to know him 10 years ago. John Bilton, he was the first guy I sent tapes to from my video kid days. Back then, it was the era of Harry Kewell and Mark Viduka at Leeds United. He's at the helm of a really big operation. Tarkan said, and he was quite explicit, I want every single game from the U14 to the U21 to be captured on camera. I want to meticulously analyze every single ball that was touched by every player's foot in all of the matches. I want to examine them using these very specific parameters so that these comprehensive match reports can be generated. That was actually my very first project when I started here in Turkey, and it specifically involved Fenerbahce from that particular time. Just think, from U14 to U21, he still has no equal. I, for one, stand so firmly behind Ali and Scoutium in my own way, yet no one seems to notice. For years now, we've been shouting about this. Let the U17 and U19 matches be filmed and uploaded to the TFF's official server. I'm not even in Turkey anymore, but Atletico Madrid. Why?
Not 17, bro, but 14, 15, 16.
Well, I'm talking about my own group. I mean, groups that are closer to professionalism, because since we don't have a passport, how can they find the best player there? So I am completely export-oriented.
We finish.
Isn't Scoutium's whole point talent development, teaching, or just great dedication? Is that right, man?
Why is the visual aspect so important here? So much emphasis on visuals. Tarkan Abi summarized it well. Visuals, why am I talking about visuals? All the matches are recorded because, man, to produce any data, there needs to be some kind of visibility.